you doing? Who are we talking about?
This is Reverend Tim McDonald, First Iconium Baptist Church.
And where are we?
We're here at the courthouse waiting on the verdict, the sentencing for these educators in the Atlanta public school system.
Sentencing? You mean sentencing some educators?
Yeah, as crazy as that sounds, that is precisely what is happening. We never should have gotten to this point, particularly under racketeering and RICO. These educators are not mobsters, they're not gangsters, they're not part of any drug cartel. They were trying to educate our children, and because of standardized testing, because of high stakes testing, it was the test itself that puts the pressure on all of the school districts to meet certain standards or their funding would be in question. And these educators got caught up in that trap, and today is their sentencing.
Wow. So what's going on inside now? What is it like? I mean, what is the?
It's a very sober kind of atmosphere. Today is D-Day, and the educators' backs up against the wall. The deal is you either accept this deal or you go to jail. And that's not much of a choice.
Wow.
And so I suspect that many of them will accept the deal rather than spend a great deal of their lives in jail.
Wow. Well, all right then. We thank you for sharing, and we'll be talking with you a little further on in this, what do you call it, fiasco? All right.
Yeah, it's an education fiasco.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Reverend Timothy McDonald.
Pass on, walk up in here.
It's Derek Bozeman with Too Much Truth.
Take your kind of gentler radio. Tell it like it is, whether you like it. Welcome back to News and Talk 1380 WOK. Let's go to Tony very quickly. Tony?
Hey, DB, what's up, buddy?
All is well.
Hey, I think my logic is right, but I might be wrong. Now, if they are charging these teachers with racketeering, I feel as though the Georgia Lottery should be charged with racketeering because it was here for education, but most of those schools didn't have books, and then they got these schools with mold in them, and they're not supplying anything with that. So I feel that we was misled from the beginning.
Yeah, well, you know, I agree with you. I think that this was overkill, the racketeering charge, unprecedented, it has never been used like this before. And it was probably the only strategy that this DA would have got a conviction. But somebody was saying something earlier, I think I must have been Lindsay Richard's show. Part of what we got to do is what we call jury nullification. When I see this kind of overkill going on, I'm going to say, you know what, I don't care what evidence they put up, I'm not going to vote to send these people to prison. I believe in it. I think it is a part of the sacrosanct, it's a part of the system as anything else. That's what they did to you all back in the 50s. That's why so many all-white juries never found any of the people who lynched you, raped your mama, murdered you, ever were found guilty. Mel Burr, how you doing?
I'm great.
Pull that microphone up close. Have you found one of the things that always surprised me is just having young people know the action step? Because I ask people, what do you want to be? And they tell me a teacher. Then I meet to ask now, what is the route to get you from where you are in 9th grade to be a teacher? What is required? And I find that many of them still don't know.
Well, first of all, I think that number has gone down since the intervention of this case that just passed. I'm quite sure a lot of students that wanted to become teachers no longer want to become teachers. I have, as a matter of fact, I'm doing taxes. I had three clients last week. It was spring break, 3 teachers, and all 3 said they're quitting the public school system because of this debacle that just took place.
On News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Ambassador Young, if you would like to say a few remarks to Judge Baxter about your feelings, we would appreciate that.
Well, actually, I came here, I think, in behalf of Judge Baxter and the district attorney. And I hope you won't mind my taking this point of view, but I've been in a lot of courtrooms, and I've been through a lot of cases that really made the difference in the history of the South. And in just about every one of these cases, it was the heroism and the wisdom and the courage of the judges that saved the South. You know them better than I do, but I was in Judge Brian Simpson's court down in St. Augustine. I was in Judge Frank Johnson's court in Montgomery, and Griffin Bell here in Atlanta, and Judge Tuttle, and Minor Wisdom in Louisiana. Without those men, we would not have a nation right now. They took some of the most difficult, complex issues of any time, and they sorted them out with a wisdom and a courage that they had never gotten the credit for. And I know that were it not for their wisdom and courage, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Okay, how you doing today? What's your name and what you doing out here?
I'm supporting Donald Book. He's an educator, longtime friend, 20-something years, went to church with him.
Okay.
And I know, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what do you think about all this?
No, I think it's a mess. And I'm also here because my daughter is also an educator. She worked in Clayton County for about 10 years. She was teacher of the year, and she decided that she could not take it anymore because you cannot even talk to the children. And so she's in Yokosuka, Japan right now. She's been there for 11 years.
Wow.
And she's passing the word about these educators, what's going on here in Atlanta. It's terrible. It's terrible. And I've heard people say, oh, they need to go to jail.
Obviously, if mom and dad.
That doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
What's going to be accomplished by them going to jail?
Okay then.
Let them go out. Let the penalty be go out and teach others. Teach kids who need it. Some kids can't read. You know? That's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. It's crazy. This is ridiculous. And our children see these educators going to jail, and they think, well, I'm not going to be a teacher. What's the point?
Some people got a natural.
The kids are looking.
Right. People can be trained.
No, it doesn't make any sense. You know.
Thank you much for sharing.
You're very welcome.
I'm about to put on Facebook.
All right, so tell us about this.
Yes, my name, first of all, is Reverend Siegfried D. White. I'm from an organization called Concerned Dads. I'm here today in Atlanta, Georgia, on the steps of the Fulton County Courthouse today. I'm about to go in to see what the judge, sentences that the judge will give the former 11 school teachers who was indicted on April the 1st, 2015. My personal belief is that the judge should just throw this case out. He should just not sentence these teachers to prison, because educators should not go to prison. Educators who was caught or who was believed to have cheated on tests should not be in the same prisons with those who have killed, robbed, and steal, murdered, those type of things. I am very disappointed I will be very disappointed if Judge Baxter give these educators who tried to help these children any jail time. I would be very disappointed.
And who are we talking with again?
My name is Siegfried White, Reverend White, with the organization called Concerned Dads.
Thank you so much for sharing.
All right, my friend.
Yes. You want this back?
I want you to keep this.
Keep it?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, thank you.
For the event.
Appreciate it.
Out on that event.
All right then.
All right.
20 years later.
20 years later. Yes,
20
indeed.
plus, 25 years rather.
All right then.
You doing all right?
Yes, sir. So who are we talking to and where are we at?
We're Derek Bozeman, the one and only. And we're at Fulton County Courthouse.
Okay.
And we're down here watching. We are definitely on the watch in terms of these educators. We're trying to see whether this system is intended to grind them up, and really it is trying to harm public education. We know that the City of Atlanta budget is $1 billion. City of Atlanta schools budget is $1 billion. City's budget is 600 million. So at the end of the day, we have to follow the money. This is about money. This is about power, and so we're here watching to see what this system is trying to do to these former educators.
Wow. So we heard you on the radio, and and we heard your opinion about this. I mean, this is really touching. I mean, to be educator yourself in terms of, you know, Morris Brown and going through this whole thing. I mean, this gotta really hit you hard.
Well, let me say this. One thing you have to do is always have empathy. You see in this group a career educator, people who dedicate their lives to this craft and to this field, never have a parking ticket. And we have a black DA, a so-called black DA, who then wants to have them charged with felony under the RICO statute that was designed for mobsters. Doesn't even make sense. It's absolutely crazy. We have to push back against that, because this could have been any of us sitting in this space as opposed to these 12 who are sitting. The other reality is 10 of these are black women. And what we're saying is we want to mark them. They have been broken financially. Lucky for them, they have not been broken spiritually, and they continue to fight. And that's why we're standing in unity and solidarity with them this morning and throughout this ordeal.
So Derek, what do you have to say to these people talking about, well, they took the money, so, I mean, you gotta pay for what you did. I mean, what do you have to say
Tell
to them?
that to the banksters who rob black families of their wealth. You can go to Wells Fargo, you can go to Bank of America, who have corporate headquarters here. They rob our grandparents of their actual wealth, their homes, their dignity. Many of us have parents living in our homes because they were robbed through predatory lending of home. Hell, tell the same prosecutor, prosecute them, and then come talk to me about somebody needs to pay.
All right, thank you so much for sharing. Derek Mosman.
What? If they've done something, then let the punishment fit the crime. You know, I mean, they have people walking out here free who killed people. You know, people got 5,000 tickets. They bring them in here and say, okay, pay $500, you can go free.
Choke people to death.
Choke people to death. Break into people's houses. Shoot people. And they give them $500 and let them go. They don't have to expunge nothing because it's not even on the record.
Wow.
You know, so we have these educators here, you know, who mostly black. Nobody gave them anything. They struggled to go through college. They've struggled to get what they have. And so we're gonna punish them, right? Because perhaps they've done something. And let me ask you this question. I know for a fact, if I was in a classroom and I was a teacher, and I'm not, my daughter is, but if I was in a classroom and I walked by, and this has happened to me, and you're taking a test, and the teacher walks by and she looks down on your paper and she sees that you're getting ready to make a mistake, she might say, are you sure you want to do that? You could do that to somebody who getting ready to shoot somebody out here. Say, you see him get ready to shoot somebody and you say,
are you sure you want to do that?
We've all made mistakes like
wow.
that. You know, so I just say, let the punishment
fit the crime. All right.
That's it.
Thanks for sharing.
The whole thing in a nutshell.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Thank you.
Paul Howard. I'm about to put on Facebook.
All right, so tell us about this.
Yes, my name, first of all, is Reverend Siegfried D. White. I'm from an organization called Concerned Dads. I'm here today in Atlanta, Georgia, on the steps of the Fulton County Courthouse today. I'm about to go in to see what the judge, the sentences that the judge will give the former 11 school teachers who was indicted on April the 1st, 2015. My personal belief is that the judge should just throw this case out. He should just not sentence these teachers to prison, because educators should not go to prison. Educators who was caught or who was believed to have cheated on tests should not be in the same prisons with those who have killed, robbed, and still murdered, those type of things. I am very disappointed I will be very disappointed if Judge Baxter give these educators who tried to help these children any jail time. I would be very disappointed.
And who are we talking with again?
My name is Siegfried White, Reverend White, with the organization called Concerned Dads.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Right.
All right,
my friend.
Yes. You want this back? I want you to keep this. Keep it? Yeah. Oh, hey, thank you.
For the event. I appreciate it. On that event.
All right, then.
All right.
9 of the 10 have decided they are not going to take the plea. And they're not going to give up their right to appeal and are going to fight this. We are hopeful. The judge said on yesterday that he would grant an appeal bond to them. So if they granted an appeal bond, then they can fight their conviction. And so with that, the juices are flowing again. We're excited again, and we want to get a little closer, so we are recommending that we seek to go inside now the courthouse. Trial is on the first floor, but they have an overflow, I've been told, on the 8th floor. But it's great for us as community leaders to hear this kind of news. We would have gone with the defendants either way they would have gone, but standing on principle is very important to our work, to our commitment to this community. And so what we want to do now is to go a little bit closer and make sure what we're hearing is in fact what is going on. So we are going to go inside the courthouse and try to see if we can grab a few seats.
All right.
And you're welcome to come.
Yes.
We're going to say a quick prayer again because we're still on the prayer watch. That's right, that's right. You know, asking God to do what only He can do. We, as I told you, I believe in the power of prayer. I don't have to do it for somebody else. No, we're good. We got a couple preachers. Come on, young preacher.
All right. Let us pray. And we're grateful for this day. We're grateful for the love and the concern that you demonstrate on a daily basis for humanity. We're grateful, God, that you have allowed those who are being charged, challenged by system to understand exactly how to go about educating those within the community. We pray, oh God, that you would be so kind to provide them with the strength and the courage that is needed in this hour, in order that they may stand the test of time. And once they make it over, oh God, we pray that you would allow them to go about and to share their story with the world, so that they may know how they made it over. We pray, God, in this hour that you would touch again the judge, the same way you touched the judge this morning and awakened the judge out of the judge's sleep. We pray, oh God, that you would touch his heart, his mind, and his soul this morning, God, so that he may administer true justice and true mercy for those who are standing, who are sitting, who are waiting for his sentencing. God, we know that you are merciful, that you show mercy every day. So allow, God, this man who's covered with a black robe to understand that he experienced your mercy every day, and that he too should allow human beings to experience similar mercy. It is in your name, great one, that we ask in prayer. And every heart out here say amen, and peace be upon our neighbors.
Amen. If you got any weapons, but you can't bring no down.
difference in the history of the South. And in just about every one of these cases, it was the heroism and the wisdom and the courage of the judges that saved the South. You know them better than I do, but I was in Judge Brian Simpson's court down in St. Augustine. I was in Judge Frank Johnson's court in Montgomery, and Griffin Bell here in Atlanta, and Judge Tuttle, and Minor Wisdom in Louisiana. Without those men, we would not have a nation right now. They took some of the most difficult, complex issues of any time, and they sorted them out with a wisdom and a courage that they had never gotten the credit for. And I know that were it not for their wisdom and courage, we wouldn't be where we are today. Now, I don't want to be too long, but way back in 1952 and 53, the president of Harvard, Dr. Conant,
Too much truth. All right, that's Andy Young as he appeared in court this morning. Let's go back to Brother Muhammad. Go ahead, Brother Muhammad.
Yes, sir, brother. As I was saying, brother, as I listen to Mr. Farrakhan, now as you know, Mr. Farrakhan have always taught that the Honorable Elijah taught him that if you don't try to be concerned about the least of those, or you don't try to be a servant for those who can't serve of their own interests. And he also said it very clear this weekend, Derek, that we have to look out for the poor. We have our people today that are always looking out for the more, have more, and want to get more. But ain't nobody talking for the poor. But when you talk about Brother Anthony Muhammad going to the school board demanding, when you go back to 1995, you got the sister who was telling you about her own child was suffering from the debacle of those giving test scores. And then if you go back, Miss Hall came here in 99. So it's been going on a long time, but I'm going to end it with this, brother. Mr. Farrakhan made it perfectly clear. Since we got everybody want to worry about those who is already doing well and have much access to those big shots and more shots, he's going to Washington, and he's going to make sure that the president and all the rest of them recognize we want some land, we want some money to empower ourselves, and we're going to help poor people. And I'm going to say it like this. I will be at the school board talking about that money you keep talking about, but I want some justice, and I want some people going to be concerned like Asa Hillary told me. He told me himself out of his own mouth. These teachers don't want to help, because most of them don't even want to teach our children. You talk about white ones, the black ones don't want to teach either.
All right, so what's the solution?
The solution is there. It's just very simple. Mr. Farrakhan said there were two commands that Christ Jesus said. Love God with all their heart.
We already do that. We got church on every corner. Now, what's the solution?
The solution is, if you're concerned about poor people that live in the inner city, give us a chance to be able to have people would stand up for them. Don't keep trying to look out for those that have more.
Bye, Muhammad. Not today. Later on for that. You know, I've been standing up for poor people ever since I could stand on 2 feet, so I know that's not for me. That's for whoever, man. Go on with that. We'll see you at the school board meeting, though. 448-922-2703. Let's go to Kim on line 3. Kim. Bye, Kim, 2, then. Let's go to Tammy on line 1. Tammy and Smyrna, how you doing?
Hey, Derek, how are you?
I'm great.
That's good. I've been trying to get in contact with you since last week in reference to this whole thing with the teachers. I am to believe, in my just deductive reasoning, that with everything going on in Atlanta, with all the gentrification, with all the new neighborhoods they're trying to do, that these people, the people that are moving, on top of paying top dollar for those houses and things of that nature, they don't have money to send their kids to private school. They want to send their kids to public school, but they don't like the public schools in the area.
Absolutely.
So what they're trying to do is change the system into a charter school system to alienate the kids that are there. And understand, charter schools are mostly owned by the same corporations that own jails. You get what I'm saying? So I can see the whole school-to-prison pipeline situation in this whole thing. I don't think people understand how big of an issue this is. I think it is a scapegoat. I am very disappointed in Mayor Reed. I understand they did something wrong, but for you to charge someone with racketeering for cheating, for some grades, like my daughter said. Okay, take away their license, but racketeering, that's something that you do with John Gotti. That's racketeering.
This is a red herring, and those of us who are watching it know. You don't parade teachers out in handcuffs. You're trying to send a message across the nation. You know, we understand for what this is. Senator Ford, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good. I know you're saying you were headed to the school board meeting.
Yes, I'm headed to the school board meeting this afternoon at 6 o'clock.
All right. Give us a sense of why the importance of this issue and what we're seeing here play out in front of us with these teachers.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that concerns me more than anything else is that the young people, the students who were cheated, the students who were cheated, are not getting the kind of remediation that they deserve, you know. I've talked to parents over the weekend and last week, told me that their students, their children, are getting ineffective short-term remediation. And I'm going to tell the school board in no uncertain terms that they need to do better by those children.
All right, let me do this, because what I want to do is talk to you after the day. I want us to, by next Thursday, you and I and anybody else who want to work with us, Brother Muhammad, call a meeting at a public facility, church, or wherever, and we want every parent of every child that think that they're not getting a fair deal, we want them to be there. And I will take the lead at organizing it. And then what we need to do, because I think each one of these children need an individual educational plan.
Absolutely.
We need to come up with what is going to be the solution and either get Maria Karstefan, Dr. Karstefan, to buy into it, or either run her out of town. Get some of these school board members, because until we come together, I don't want people to say y'all just concerned about the educators. I'm concerned about the whole program, but I also know that APS, like public education, is broken in so many places. If the people don't force a fix, it won't happen. And so I want us to be proactive on that, in that regard, and we'll start talking about it tomorrow, that any child, any parent of any child that was cheated during this scandal, we want to hear from them and to ask them to come forward and let us work on a solution for them and with them.
Absolutely. That is what I'm talking about. You know, and you're exactly right. If the superintendent gets in the way, she needs to move out the way. If any school board, we're in this position to a great extent because the school board was a lapdog to Beverly Hall. And so if that's the case, if the school board doesn't step up, they need to step out the way as well.
All right. Well, tell us what happened in the meeting tonight. We'll talk over the after later on this evening, and we'll figure out how do we be an advocate for those children.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, Senator. 448-922-703. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to Attorney Mel Burrow. He teaches college career trades. It is Let Us Make Man Week. All week you're going to hear from the brothers and the voices. You say black men are not concerned, black men are not present, black men are not in the home, black men are not doing. I'm going to bring you some black men this week that you could be proud of. We're going to start it off with Mel Burrow, Brother Karaoke. Let him tell his story and how he intends to help young people recognize that they have something great inside of them and they can exercise it. So don't go anyplace. Get your pen and paper ready. We'll be back. It's Too Much Truth with Derek Bozeman on News and Talk 1380 WALK.
This morning, the community, we had prayer for mercy, prayer for leniency. We had President of Concerned, in fact, there were 4 presidents of Concerned Black Clergy there this morning. The NAACP was there. Let Us Make Man, the United Youth Adult Conference, other community leaders were there. And it was a wonderful, powerful, and I've been telling people all along, you've been saying it on the radio, God is moving because you know and I know. 2 weeks ago, we were not even at this point.
No. It's very clear that this judge was predisposed, as he did, ordered them straight to jail from the courtroom. And one of the things we learned, they went to jail praising God. They didn't go with their heads hung. They went there Easter Sunday. Yeah, and so it has been real. Rev, hold on a second, because we're going to talk about today. And I know that you have been working out front and behind the scenes. We want to thank Elder Bernice King, who was sitting in the courtroom today. Ambassador Andy Young, former Judge Thelma Y. Cummings Moore, who has been just doing a yeoman's job trying to broker some kind of agreement here from the inside, and a number of others, Reverend Gerald Durley, a number of others who are working. We intend to work until the last minute.
because it just does not make any sense to have these teachers jailed when their skills and their talents could be put to use, helping to mitigate some of the circumstances of lack of education in our community. 448-922-2703 is our phone number. When we come back, we'll return to Reverend Timothy McDonald and so much more to go. It's Too Much Truth with Derek Bozeman on News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Hi, I'm Akira.
Video in which she vows to champion a still struggling middle class.
The priorities that the president has championed are consistent with the values that most Democrats share.
But officials here insist there's been no coordination, and Obama's focus is tied to Wednesday's tax filing deadline. Mark Smith at the White House.
AP Update. I'm Tim McGuire.
Right now, traffic really moving slowly
On News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
This is attorney Chris Leopold, and you're listening to Too Much Truth with Derek Bozeman on News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Call us at 404-892-2703 on News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Welcome back to News and Talk 1380 WAOK. It's real issues, real drama. A lot is happening around the APS 12. We're grateful for a community. You know, and I said this last week. We live in a society that is so hell-bent on just punish somebody. Somebody has to almost be massacred before we are happy. And I don't think anybody, other than a few people, think these teachers ought to be in jail forever. Reverend McDonald?
Yes, sir.
Give us a sense of, what are you witnessing? Because I know you've been around, you've been on the phone, working the front and the back door. What is your sense of how this is going to play out?
I haven't had to work so hard on the weekend about entire ministry, and it's all been positive. Mm-hmm. The community has really been reacting, and what the community wants is no jail time for these teachers. Overwhelmingly, that is the sentiment, that they have served enough. They missed Easter, they were incarcerated, and they want no jail time. The other main concern, though, that we have, Derek, is the no appeal. See, what people don't realize is once you're a convicted felon, you can no longer vote. Mm-hmm. You're no longer considered a full citizen, only because they exercise their constitutional right of a trial by jury. Mm-hmm. Now, people can plead. That's one of the options. But it is every citizen's constitutional right to have a trial by jury. Once you have that, you should be able to appeal it if you feel you did. And we heard one of the teachers today say, Your Honor, I don't still feel that I did it. You want me to say that I recant and admit? He said, but I didn't do anything. Those ladies, to save their own skin, they lied on me, and the jurors believed them. But in my heart, he said, I did not do anything. So he should be able to appeal. What the recommendation from Paul Howard said is no appeal.
Yeah.
In other words,
which
for
is
the rest of my life, I give up my citizenship, my right to vote, my right to participate as a citizen in the democratic process. I give it off, and I would never have opportunity to get that back.
No appeal, no first-time offender sentences. That was not on the table either. That the arrest and conviction could be expunged from your record once you satisfy all the conditions of probation. That was not offered. What do you make? Some heavy hitters from the community, Elder Bernice King, Andy Young, Thelma Wyatt Cummings Moore, former judge, showed up to testify on behalf of the
This is an international issue. People got to understand, this is not just a local issue. All over the country, the eyes of the nation are upon us here in Atlanta and what we do and how we treat teachers. I said it before, I said it now. The real culprit here is the national education policy of no child left behind. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who's the superintendent. It doesn't matter who's over the test. We found it in nearly every state. Over 30 states in the United States had cheating because of the policy of reward and punishment set by no child left behind. It's the policy, it's the mandate, it's the goals, it's the standardized testing. It's not Dr. Hall. It's not these 12, these 11 others who we now want to scapegoat. No, it's the policy itself that says these are the standards, these are the where you're supposed to be. And they even were ridiculous enough, and I remember Dr. H says they wanted 100% at this level, and it's supposed to have been by 2014 last year. Guess what? We didn't come anywhere near that anywhere in the country. Right. It was ridiculous from the start, and now we want to scapegoat these educators, put them in jail, destroy their reputation, destroy their families, and it's just not right. And the public is saying now it's just not right, and we don't want these educators to spend another day in prison. That's what we're hearing all across, not only Atlanta, but across the nation.
And so much so that Georgia opted out the CRCT testing and the developing its own
as soon as they
test.
could.
Right. That tells you they didn't think the test was that valid, because Georgia has completely, you don't even take that test anymore. They're coming up with their own Common Core standards as well as their own testing. And as Ambassador Young say, a test is not a measurement of whether you are educating a child or not. But Reverend McDonald, we appreciate you, man. Is there a call
we'll be
tomorrow?
There in the morning. We'll be there in the morning, Durley. The court convenes at 10 o'clock. We're asking our people to be there no later than 9:30.
All right.
9 to 9:30. We're going to be back out there tomorrow, and I just thank God. I'm telling you, the hand of God is moving. And I'm so pumped up and so encouraged. My faith is strengthened. So many people turned out. So many people from First Iconium turned out. To make the pastor feel good.
Right.
But the hand of God is moving. We need your listening audience to join us in the morning over there on Pryor Street at the Superior Court at 9:30 so that we can sing and pray some more and let them folk inside feel the power of the Lord coming down.
All right. Thank you, Reverend Mag. We appreciate you.
God bless you, Brother DB. Appreciate you.
All right, tomorrow morning, 9:30. 9:30, we're asking everybody to join us again. What a great crowd that was this morning. On the inside, the courtroom field, upstairs, overflow room that they set up field. Outside, people are standing shoulder to shoulder. Making a statement. 448-922-703. Let's go to Brother Muhammad on line 3. Brother Muhammad.
Yes, I first greet you with peace and paradise and everything. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Mr. Farrakhan was in town, brother, and he spoke, and I've been listening to his words, and I recognize that we sympathize with teachers, but with the poor children there.
Say what now? You got cut off.
We sympathize with the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to recognize poor children in the inner city are being elected and not given fair access to what they need to make sure they can be all they can be.
But Brother Muhammad, that's not true. We sympathize with the students also.
There.
And then what we have to do, because you and I can have this, we can go back and forth on this. We agree with you. No, I want you to be very clear now. Because we're not just, I'm not going to let you make an untrue statement without challenging it. So we are not just there for the teachers. All we're saying is this. Now, I know what you're talking about this evening. They got $30 million in a budget that is supposed to help remediate this. But I would also say to you, and I say this to any parent out there of the 6,000 that you say, if you need help, let me be very clear. As for me, hold on, I'm gonna let you make a comment, but I'm gonna put you on hold so we can be very clear. If you believe that your child has somehow been maligned, their educational progress has been stifled, call me.
You can hit me at db1380@gmail.com. I will personally go with you and help your child get an individual plan of improvement. I think that's very easy to do. I don't even think the board is going to challenge that. But to put into place a $30 million bag of money and say this is going to fix it using the same old broken system is not going to work. You're asking the broken system that has said they can't teach them. If you put $30 million down into that rabbit hole, all of a sudden it's going to teach them how to read. Each one of them children should have an individual educational plan, an IEP. And the other thing, if the parents believe that those 2 years, or they're doing it, because we're talking about 2 years that in terms of APS, that their child move forward without making the progress they were getting, we're saying hold that child back for 2 more years so that they can catch up. A parent can do that today. Say, look, I don't believe my child made the progress they said he made, so I want to return him back to the 4th grade as opposed to have him going to the 5th grade. So we want to have a conversation about how do we mitigate this. Then let's have that conversation. We'll come back. We'll let Brother Muhammad say his piece. And then we got Brothers Aletus McMahon, who is in the studio. And we're going to talk to them about this upcoming conference. So, no, we're not forgetting about the children. But one of the things you have to be very clear on, the test scores have not moved. All of a sudden, because they stopped the so-called cheating, we didn't see test scores shoot out the roof. It didn't happen. What you have to come to is a startling conclusion. There are some hard-to-learn children that's going to need some different kind of approaches. And condemning these teachers to death ain't going to get them reading any but better. If they went to jail for the rest of their lives, how's that going to help Tommy to read if Tommy is in 8th grade and can't read? Tommy in 8th grade can't spell rat. How is putting the teachers in jail for 20 years going to solve that problem? Come on, man. 448-922-2703 is our phone number. Don't go into place. Stick and stay with us. It's Too Much Truth with Derek Bozeman on News and Talk 1380 WAOK.